Yeah, I'm the guy who just stole his phone from.
First-degree murder. That's the one thing the Jodi Arias jury can agree on. Under that dark hair and those bookish glasses, the mind of a murderer.
The afternoon of Wednesday, June 4th, 2008. Mesa, Arizona. Water's running in a bathroom somewhere in the suburbs. Steam rising. Travis Alexander's standing in his shower and someone's taking pictures of him. He's posing, relaxed, maybe even smiling a little. 2 minutes later, he's on that bathroom floor, dying. The person holding the camera? His ex-girlfriend. The same woman who'd driven over 1,000 miles through the night with gas cans in her trunk so nobody would know she was there. The same woman who'd crawled through his doggy door when he changed his locks. The same woman who'd stood behind his Christmas tree, watching him decorate. 27 stab wounds. Throat slashed so deep it nearly severed his spine, a bullet to the face. And here's what's gonna mess you up. Investigators found the entire thing documented on his own camera. Time-stamped photos showing them together earlier that day, intimate photos, then photos of him alive in the shower, and then accidental photos taken as the camera hit the floor during the attack. The camera captured it all. This is what happened when Jodi Arias decided that if she couldn't have Travis Alexander, nobody would. Even if you followed this trial, there's stuff here most people never learned about. Before we get into this, if you believe Travis Alexander's story matters, if you think understanding the warning signs of obsession could save someone's life, show me right now by hitting that like button. His life had value, his story deserves to be told the right way. And what we're about to go through needs to reach people. Travis Victor Alexander was born on July 28, 1977 in Riverside, California. His childhood was brutal. Both his parents struggled with drug addiction and reportedly abused their children. When Travis was 10 years old, he and his 6 siblings were taken in by their paternal grandmother. That could have broken him. It didn't. By his 20s, Travis had built a whole life for himself. He worked as a salesman and motivational speaker for prepaid legal services, which later became Legal Shield. He was actually successful at it. The kind of guy who'd speak at conferences, close deals, earn trips to Cancun. He bought his own home in Mesa, Arizona. He became a devout member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He had friends who loved him. He had dreams of getting married and starting a family. Yeah, and people who knew him described him as charismatic. The type of person who could walk into any room and make everyone feel welcome. He'd do stand-up comedy sometimes under the alter ego Eddie Snell.
Most people in this business are broke. And if they aren't, well, screw you. And I went to talk to him like, hey, Darnell, could you do my conference call? He's like, I will not do your conference call. Because you have a mullet. I was like, bro, you got a big house. You don't have to be jealous. We all got good stuff. We're going to talk about the 10 poor commitments. Now, why are we calling the 10 poor commitments? Number one, the 10 core commitments suck. And most of the fetchers that get involved in this thing are poor, so we might as well just leave it at their level, right? Number two, meetings cost money. My name's Chris Hughes. I work at Chili's. My name's Chris Hughes. I work at Chili's. I know you work at Chili's. Successful people do absolutely nothing. Because they get stupid poor people to do it for them.
He had a whole life ahead of him. That's what makes this so devastating. Nothing about his life screamed danger. Nothing about him should have ended the way it did on June 4th, 2008. September 2006, Las Vegas, Nevada. A work convention for prepaid legal services. That's where 29-year-old Travis Alexander met 26-year-old Jodi Arias. She was an aspiring photographer from California, working as a waitress. Blonde hair, pretty, soft-spoken. At first, she seemed wonderful. According to testimony at trial, they communicated constantly. Emails, phone calls, text messages. The connection was intense from the very beginning. Within days of meeting Travis, Jodi reportedly broke up with her longtime live-in boyfriend and started a long-distance relationship with Travis. They'd take turns traveling between Arizona and California. They'd talk on the phone daily, email constantly. And here's where it gets interesting. On November 26, 2006, Just 2 months after meeting Travis, Jodi converted to his Mormon faith. Travis himself baptized her in a ceremony in Southern California. Think about that timeline. 2 months. She's already changing her entire religious belief system to match his. That's not normal dating behavior. That's someone molding themselves into whatever they think you want them to be. Friends said she seemed devoted, attentive, maybe a little too attentive, but some people are just really into their partners, right? Wrong. Because within months, the cracks started showing. In February 2007, Jodi moved from California to Mesa to be closer to Travis. They officially started dating. But friends around Travis started noticing things. Sky and Chris Hughes, close friends of Travis, testified during the trial that Jodi would show up at his house unannounced. Just appear. She'd go through his phone when he wasn't looking. She hacked his Facebook account and email. Multiple times. If Travis so much as talked to another woman, even casually, Jodi would get this look. Possessive, angry. Sky Hughes told Travis straight up, "I'm afraid we're going to find you chopped up in her freezer. She's completely obsessed with you." But Travis didn't listen. Not completely. By June 29th, 2007, he'd had enough and broke up with her. Told his friends it was over. Done. No, he wanted to move on. Except they didn't stop seeing each other. They kept hooking up, kept texting. It was toxic, confusing, emotionally chaotic. Travis would tell people he was finished with her, then she'd show up and they'd fall right back into the same patterns. And when Travis started actually dating other women, that's when Jodi's behavior escalated from concerning to genuinely terrifying. Travis started seeing a woman named Lisa Andrews in late 2007. She was 18. They were taking things slow, and Jodi completely spiraled. One night, Lisa's sitting in her house and hears knocking on her door. She goes to check, nobody there. Then, knocking on her window. She looks outside. Nothing. This happened multiple times. Same pattern. It was Jodi, running up to the door or window, knocking, and then hiding before Lisa could see who it was. Travis went out to his car one morning, all 4 tires slashed. Flat. It happened twice, different occasions. Everyone suspected Jodi, but there was no proof. Here's something most people don't know about this case. Jodi had the code to Travis's garage. She knew how to get into his house. And when Travis changed the code and locked the garage, she started crawling through the doggy door. According to testimony, Travis came home one night from a date with another woman named Mimi Hall and found Jodi asleep on his couch. She'd broken in through the doggy door while he was gone and just made herself comfortable, like she lived there. Another time, during Christmas, Travis was decorating his house and later discovered that Jodi had been hiding behind his Christmas tree the entire time, sort of just standing there in the shadows, watching him hang ornaments. Can you imagine decorating for the holidays and your ex is lurking behind the tree like some nightmare? Travis told friends he was genuinely concerned about what Jodi might be capable of. He knew she was dangerous, but he didn't cut her off completely. Maybe he felt guilty. Maybe he thought he could manage it. Maybe he just didn't realize how close to the edge she actually was. How many times have we seen behavior like this and told ourselves, it's not that serious? That they're just hurt and they'll get over it? Drop a comment right now if you've ever witnessed this kind of obsessive behavior, whether you were in the relationship or watching from the outside. Because recognizing these patterns is how we protect people. By the spring of 2008, Jodi had moved back to California. Eureka, a small town near the Oregon border, living with her grandparents, over 1,000 miles away from Travis. Travis was planning a trip to Cancun, Mexico in June with Mimi Hall. Just as friends, she'd made that clear to him. But he was moving forward with his life. Dating, working, living. Jodi wasn't handling it well. On May 28, 2008, a .25 caliber gun was reported stolen from her grandparents' house, the same house where she was living. Late May, she borrowed 2 gas cans from her ex-boyfriend, Daryl Brewer, told him she was going on a road trip and didn't want to stop for gas in certain areas. On June 2nd, 2008, she rented a car, but not in Eureka, where she lived. She drove 90 miles away to Redding, California to rent a white Ford Focus from Budget Rent-A-Car. Why drive that far? Less chance of the rental agent remembering her later. She told the agent she wasn't planning to drive to Arizona. Complete lie. She filled up those gas cans so she wouldn't have to stop at Arizona gas stations. Because gas stations have security cameras. If she didn't stop, there'd be no record of her being there. On June 3rd, around 11 p.m., she arrived at Travis's house in Mesa. She turned off her cell phone before crossing into Arizona, and in her possession, that .25 caliber gun. Wednesday, June 4th, 2008. Based on the timestamps recovered from Travis's digital camera, evidence presented at trial, Jodi and Travis spent the afternoon together. They had sex. They took photos. Some were explicit, some were just normal. Around 1:40 in the afternoon, there are photos of them naked in bed together. Travis looking at the camera. You can partially see Jodi in some of the frames. Hours pass. Then, around 5:22 that evening, the photos shift. Travis is in the shower. There are pictures of him sitting down under the running water. He looks relaxed at first. 5:29 p.m. and 53 seconds. The last photo of Travis Alexander alive. He's sitting in the shower looking up at the camera. And in his expression, you can see confusion. Maybe annoyance. Like, why are you still taking pictures? 44 seconds later. 5:30 p.m. and 37 seconds. A photo of the ceiling, blurry. The camera's been dropped. 1 minute and 2 seconds after that, a photo of the bathroom floor. Travis's body is visible, blood spreading across the tile. You can see Jodi's pant leg in the frame, her foot. 3 seconds later, I see another accidental photo as the camera slides across the floor. The hallway, streaks across the tile where something heavy has been dragged. In less than 2 minutes, Travis Alexander went from alive and standing in his shower to dead on that bathroom floor.
What essentially does this mean in terms of what was done to Travis Alexander's neck?
Okay. We're talking about a wound 6 inches in length and 1.5 inches in depth.
1.5 inches into my neck.
The autopsy report says it's an oblique cut, so that means that your knife, you're not shoving it into the throat, but you're going in at an angle from one side to the other. The severity of the wound and the depth of the wound severed the trachea, and if it were in the area of the larynx or the voice box, it would render the victim unable to utter or scream.
According to the medical examiner's testimony, he was stabbed 27 times. The wounds were deep. One punctured the vein going into his heart. 2 stab wounds to the back of his skull chipped away part of the bone. His hands and arms were covered in defensive wounds. He tried to grab the knife. He tried to block the blows. He fought back. His throat was slashed so deeply it cut through his jugular vein, his carotid artery, and his trachea. The slash went 3 to 4 inches deep, almost reaching his spine, and he was shot in the forehead with a .25 caliber gun. And the medical examiner testified there was no bleeding near the gunshot wound, which suggested Travis might have already been dead when she pulled that trigger. He suffered. The defensive wounds prove he was conscious during the attack. He knew what was happening, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. After it was over, Jodi dragged his body back into the shower. She threw the camera in the washing machine, trying to destroy the evidence. She attempted to clean up the scene, then she left. She drove straight to Utah, met up with another guy she'd been talking to named Ryan Burns, made out with him for hours, acted completely normal, like she hadn't just killed someone. When Ryan noticed cuts all over her hands, she told him she'd cut herself at work, at a restaurant called Margaritaville. Prosecutors later proved no such restaurant existed anywhere near where she worked. Travis's body laid there for 5 days, decomposing in the June heat. His friends started getting worried when he missed an important conference call on June 4th. Travis was supposed to be leading it. That wasn't like him at all. His friends Sky and Chris Hughes were already in Cancun for the company retreat. They kept calling him, texting him. No response. Chris Hughes left him a voicemail, expressing frustration that Travis wasn't answering. He had no idea how close to the truth his concerns were. On June 9th, Mimi Hall and another friend named Zachary Billings went to Travis's house. The door was locked. Travis's roommates were home but said they hadn't seen him in days. They figured he'd already left for Cancun. When they tried Travis's bedroom door, it was locked too. They found a key. Billings opened the door and immediately saw a puddle of blood on the carpet leading to the bathroom. He followed it to the bathroom, and there in the shower, Travis's body, decomposing, crumpled. The smell was overwhelming. The 911 call is absolutely heartbreaking.
Oh my God.
911 emergency.
Hi, this is AJ with the transfer. She's calling from 11428 East Queensboro. Ma'am, is that correct?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, that's 11428 East Queensboro Avenue in Mesa.
Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
What?
What's going on?
A friend of ours is dead in his bedroom. We hadn't heard from him for a while. We think he's dead. His roommate just went in there and said there's lots of blood. I didn't go in, but I can give you the phone to someone who went in there.
Yes, please, can you?
Hello.
Hi, so what's going on?
He's dead. He's in his bedroom.
Okay.
In the shower.
Okay, how did this happen? Do you have any idea?
No, we have no idea. Everyone's been wondering about him for a few days.
She said that there was blood. So is it coming from his head? Did he cut
No,
his wrist?
it's all over the place.
Hold on just a moment. Okay, you're a good friend of Travis's, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has he been depressed at all? Thinking about committing suicide, anything like that?
I don't think he's been thinking he committed suicide. He's been really depressed because he broke up with this girl, and he was all upset about that. But I don't think he would actually kill himself over that.
Has he been threatened by anyone recently?
Yes, he has. Okay. He has an ex-girlfriend that's been bothering him and following him and slashing tires and things like that.
And do you know the ex-girlfriend's name?
Do you remember it? Yeah. What's his ex-girlfriend's name? Ask Taylor.
And do you know if he's ever reported it to the police?
Her name is Jodi. I don't know if he's ever reported. Hold on. Yeah. Ask Taylor if he's ever reported Jodi to the police, like if Travis did. No, he hasn't reported anything about Jodi's behavior.
Okay, the tub is in his bedroom?
Yeah, and I guess I didn't go in, but from what I heard, his roommate went in. There's blood in his bedroom, behind the door, and then he said it's all over. And then they went in the bathroom, and he's in his shower.
Okay.
So
and his bedroom is where in the house?
It's upstairs. And if you go up the stairs, it's on the left. It's the first door on your left. It's the only door on your left.
Okay.
And it's just a big master suite bedroom up there. And she's talking to his friend right now. There's a girl that's been stalking him and things, and he's trying to. You might know some information. I hope my phone doesn't die. I'm on like 1 bar of battery.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to keep you on the phone until officers arrive, either officers or paramedics arrive, okay?
Okay, I think I can hear the sirens now.
You can hear the panic, the shock, the horror in their voices. When Mesa Police Detective Esteban Flores arrived on the scene, he said blood was everywhere. On the floors, the walls, the sink. It was immediately clear this was deeply personal. Someone who knew Travis, someone who wanted him dead and wanted to make absolutely sure of it. If you're learning things about this case you didn't know before, if this kind of deep coverage matters to you, hit that subscribe button, as these stories need to be told completely and respectfully. And the warning signs we're uncovering here could genuinely save someone's life. Detectives recovered that camera from the washing machine. It had gone through the wash cycle, but it wasn't completely destroyed. Forensic investigators retrieved every deleted photo, the timestamps, the images, the entire timeline of that day. They also found a bloody palm print on the wall outside Travis's bedroom. DNA testing showed it was a mixture, Travis's blood and Jodi's DNA mixed together. A .25 caliber shell casing was found at the scene, but no weapon. The gun was never recovered. When police contacted Jodi in California, she acted shocked. "Oh my God, what happened to Travis? Is he okay?" She told them she hadn't seen him in months, hadn't been to Arizona at all, and was in California the whole time. Complete lie. And here's one of the creepiest details of this entire case. While Travis's body was decomposing in his house for those 5 days, Jodi was leaving him voicemails. Multiple voicemails. Acting worried. "Hey Travis, it's me. Haven't heard from you. Hope you're okay. Call me back." She sent him emails too. Days after the murder. Messages like she was waiting to hear from him. Acting completely normal. She was building an alibi. In real time. While his body was literally rotting in that bathroom. Detectives brought her in for questioning. And the interrogation footage is absolutely wild. She's doing handstands in the interrogation room, singing to herself, examining her split ends, acting like she's at a spa, not being questioned for murder. On July 9th, 2008, her 29th birthday, a grand jury indicted her for first-degree murder. July 15th, she was arrested at her grandparents' house in Northern California. And then, her story started changing. First version, "I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I haven't seen Travis in months." After they showed her the evidence, the photos, the palm print, the DNA, "Okay, fine, I was there. But 2 masked intruders broke in. They had a gun and a knife. They killed him and attacked me too. I was too scared to tell anyone." Then 2 years later, right before trial, "Okay, I killed him. But it was self-defense. He attacked me when I accidentally dropped his camera. I had no choice." 3 completely different stories, each one more unbelievable than the last. The trial started in January 2013 in Maricopa County Superior Court, and it became an absolute media circus. Jodi took the stand and testified for 18 days. 18. That's longer than most entire trials. She claimed Travis was abusive. She said he was into sexual things that made her uncomfortable. She said he attacked her that day when she dropped his camera, and she had no choice but to defend herself. The prosecution, led by Deputy County Attorney Juan Martinez, wasn't buying any of it. They showed the jury those time-stamped photos documenting the entire day. The rental car she'd gotten 90 miles from home, the gas cans she'd borrowed, her phone being turned off as she crossed into Arizona, the stolen gun from her grandparents' house. They showed text messages from late May where Travis told Jodi he thought she was evil and that their relationship was toxic. Days after those messages, the gun was reported stolen. When Jodi returned the rental car on June 7th, the mileage showed she'd driven an enormous distance in just a few days. The floor mats were missing. There were stains on the seats. The rental clerk testified to all of this. Ryan Burns, the guy she visited in Utah right after the murder, testified that when Jodi showed up, her hair was suddenly dark brown. She'd been blonde her entire life. She'd dyed it to change her appearance. And he noticed cuts all over her hands. Prosecutor Juan Martinez played those voicemails Jodi had left for Travis while his body was decomposing. The jury heard her cheerful voice, acting like nothing had happened. Martinez asked her directly, "Did you send it so he could reach you from the grave?" She broke down crying. On May 8th, 2013, after months of testimony, the jury came back with a verdict: guilty, first-degree murder. The penalty phase had 2 separate juries, both deadlocked on whether to give her the death penalty. On April 13th, 2015, Judge Sherry Stevens sentenced Jodi Arias to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
The court finds, as the jury found, the crime was especially cruel. The offense was committed with at least 2 deadly weapons, a gun and at least 1 knife. The crime involved substantial planning and preparation. The defendant did not render aid to the victim. The defendant destroyed evidence at the crime scene. The defendant went to great lengths to conceal her involvement in the crime. The court has also considered, as an aggravating factor, the emotional and financial harm to the victim family members. As mitigation, the court finds the defendant has no prior criminal history. The defendant has family and community support. The defendant has mental health issues. The court has also considered the defendant's childhood background, family history, and her expressed remorse. The court finds the mitigation presented is not sufficiently substantial to call for leniency and that a natural life sentence is appropriate. It is ordered the defendant shall be incarcerated in the Department of Corrections for the rest of her natural life with no possibility of parole.
She's currently serving her sentence at the Perryville State Prison Complex in Goodyear, Arizona, and she's never getting out. If you think this story needs to be heard, if you believe understanding the warning signs of obsession could literally save someone's life, share this video. Send it to someone who needs to see it. This information matters. Travis Alexander should have finished his shower that day. Should have dried off, gotten dressed, packed his bags for Cancun, and lived. He should have seen 31, 35, 50, 80. He should have achieved those big dreams he had. Should have gotten married, had kids, grown old. This case isn't just about one brutal murder. It's about the patterns we ignore, the red flags we dismiss as someone just being really into their partner, the stalking we excuse as heartbreak, the control we mistake for love. Jodi Arias presented herself as perfect, devoted, spiritual. She converted to Travis's religion. She moved across state lines for him. From the outside, she looked like the ideal girlfriend. But beneath that, hacking his accounts, crawling through his doggy door, slashing his tires, hiding behind his Christmas tree, watching him through windows, showing up uninvited, control disguised as devotion, obsession masked as love. And when Travis tried to move forward with his life, when he tried to be happy without her, she made absolutely certain he couldn't. If you're in a relationship where boundaries aren't respected, where control feels like caring, where jealousy is explained away as passion, please get help. Reach out. Leave. Your life is worth protecting.